Hey, Father Taylor here, and it's a very pretty Thursday, September 5, and this is your weekly EBlast. First of all, thanks. Thanks for Carol and Manda holding down the fort at the office, running everything while I was gone. Thank you for your continual and faithful work. Thank you. Big thanks for Deacon Denise and Pastor Jim Wheeler, who handled the 8 and the 9:15 service in my absence last week. I was out in California, had all kinds of great adventures, seeing my family out there. So it was really great. Good to be back. So here's what's coming up. These events, when you hear them, you might say, I don't know if that applies to me or not. That's not my thing. But listen to them carefully, because everything I'm about to tell you is a way that you can invite someone to experience our community and come closer to the presence of God in worship and in part of everyday life. The first one is this Sunday, September 8th, we're having a blessing for all school-age kids. So when we first put this on the schedule, I've been doing this for years, long before I got here to Trinity, probably something Trinity folks did too. We've been doing it since I've got here. It's not just a nice thing. We're asking that the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth, the one who loves the world so much that he gave his only begotten Son, the one who we pray, may your name be hallowed everywhere, and may your kingdom come. We're asking the Lord to watch over and protect and care for these kids and to bless them in this school year. If you've had kids or you remember your own childhood, school years for kids, man, it's just like every day there's something going on, good and bad in school and playgrounds and sports. It's just like bustle of activity. We're asking God to bless them, to help them come to know him, to see him present, to protect them in ways that they can't even imagine. And we've had this on the schedule, and lo and behold, just yesterday, another school shooting. I mean, these school shootings, I hope, one of the prayers I prayed for was that every time I hear about one, that I will be deeply affected by it. I don't want to begin to think that, oh, it's another school shooting. What else happened in the news? So we pray for the victims' families. We pray for the perpetrator's family. God cares about all these people. Think about that, all those students just arriving at that school. I just wonder what the mentality is. All those kids in that school and undoubtedly had heard about school shootings before, but do you really think it's going to happen at your school? Or do you think it could happen any day at my school? Just a whole nother world I want you to keep in mind as you pray every time we hear about that. But that's part of the reason that we're going to prayer here. We're praying for these kids and blessing on them. It's not like pixie dust. We're asking God to work in their lives, in their families' lives, in their little friends' lives and teachers' lives. We're asking God's kingdom to come and surround and involve these kids. It will not make them necessarily to avoid tragic things, but God will be in it and God will be with them. And we're praying that God would defend them from all of these things, even emotionally. So September 8th, this Sunday, 9:15, you might have some grandkids in the area. To say, look, we're going to ask a blessing on our kids. It could be helpful for your kid who's just heard about another school shooting to come and to know that God is watching over them. So think about who you might invite to come and see it. This might be a one-time thing, but ask them to come for this Sunday, September 8th. If I didn't think that the prayers made a difference, I wouldn't bother. When we're praying like this, we're praying that God hears and God acts. And so that's what we're praying for. So don't think of this as like, well, we go to church sometimes. No. We're praying for God to do something on these kids that we pray for on Sunday. Okay, so that's September 8th. The next Saturday, two things are happening in the morning or the early afternoon. That's when we have church by the pond. And so you are invited to come down. Perfect time of year. Weather is going to be great. I mean, even if it's not great, it means it's still pretty good because it's just early fall. So come on down, meet some of these people. You've heard about it 1,000 times, but you ought to come down. Just come down to Bushnell Park. You know, it's like at most an hour. You park down there, you see a couple of other folks from church, you get to see what your church is all about. And who knows, God might invite you into the ministry. So please consider coming down and being down there at the park. So that's the at 2 o'clock. But then at 5 o'clock, talk about a busy afternoon. 5 o'clock, we have right in our parking lot live band. They were here last year, St. George and the Dragons, which is a band that does all the circuits around here. And everybody in that band has recorded. This is like a big time group. So you might say, I'm not really that big on, going to hear this kind of music outdoors. But it's an inviting event. One of the most fun parts last year was how many families came and had kids running around on the grass. It was great. So please consider coming and inviting people to come with you for the 14th, when we have outdoor concert and barbecue, St. George and the Dragons, live right here in our parking lot. And the third thing is coming up is that we're about to start the next day our newcomers series, which has, if you want to be a member, we really need you to come to this class because it's going to answer 3 big questions. What is a Christian? How do we understand what it means to be a Christian here at Trinity Church? How do we see it? 2, what's an Episcopalian? Which very few people, even long-time Episcopalians, sometimes wonder, what does that really mean? What is an Episcopalian? And the third one is, what does it mean to be a member? If you have already gone to this course, you can come again. You can pick one day, you can pick another day. This is what we're offering after church. And it's not just for brand new people. Some of you have been coming to church here for, I don't know, more than a year. And we'd like you to come to this class. This is part of how you become a member here at Trinity Church. So September 8th, the Sunday, blessing of school-age kids. September 14th, we have a live down at the park. We're ministering, and then coming back live concert right here in the parking lot. Invite your friends. And then the next day, we begin our newcomer series, the 3 What is a Christian? That'll be up for this coming Sunday. All right, well, God bless you. Always be aware that it is not a weird thing or an exceptional thing, like an asterisk. It's every day God calls you to see where He's at work right around you and whatever you're doing, and asks you to join Him in ministry. So that's a big theme for us this year. Where is God calling us in ministry? In fact, we got a whole Saturday in October 5, dedicated to having all of you come to be, as we can, to continue to discern what's the very specific call that God has for us. All right, guys, good to see you. Enjoy the weather, and we hope to see you this Sunday.